North Korea launched a projectile earlier today, but it immediately failed after liftoff, according to Seoul. The failed launch, which sent debris and toxic rocket fuel raining out of the sky close to the capital Pyongyang, according to NK News, was likely a test of Kim Jong Un's so-called monster missile, according to analysts. This morning's unsuccessful launch, North Korea's 10th suspected weapons test this year, comes after the U.S. said the nuclear-armed country was preparing to fire an intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, at full range for the first time since 2017. North Korea fired an unknown projectile from the Seoul area around 9:30 today, but it is presumed that it failed immediately after launch, Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff said in a statement. Chung Sung-chang, a senior researcher at the private Sejong Institute, said, signs indicate the North test fired Hwasong-17 today, before warning more tests of the monster missile are likely to follow in quick succession. I expect the North to conduct 1 or 2 more test launches before April 15. Despite fighting international sanctions over its weapons programs, Pyongyang conducted 7 missile tests in January and twice launched components of what it claimed were a reconnaissance satellite, which South Korea and the U.S. believe were in fact tests of the Hwasong-17. The February 27 and March 5 satellite tests were also from the Seoul area in Pyongyang, according to South Korea's military. But today's unsuccessful test launch will come as a humiliating failure for Kim Jong Un, and could also pose a significant health risk to North Korean citizens. The missile suffered a catastrophic failure shortly after launch and exploded close to Pyongyang, sending debris from the missile and toxic rocket fuel spraying back towards the ground, according to NK News. If the remnants of the missile were to land on a populated area, they could pose a severe health risk, both in terms of the damage caused by falling debris and the toxicity of the missile propellant. Ankit Panda, a senior fellow in the nuclear policy program at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, said the missile likely used a liquid fuel propellant which could cause severe burns to anyone exposed to it. I hope it didn't crash near or in Pyongyang, he said. The nuclear-armed North has long coveted an ICBM that can carry multiple warheads, and the U.S. said last week the recent tests marked a serious escalation of the country's weapons programs. The U.S. military this week said it had enhanced missile defense systems in South Korea. It has also increased the intensity of air defense drills, as well as conducting a carrier-based air demonstration in the Yellow Sea following the recent North Korean launches. But the country has been observing a self-imposed moratorium on testing long-range and nuclear weapons since 2017, when leader Kim Jong Un embarked on a flurry of high-level diplomacy. Negotiations with then U.S. President Donald Trump collapsed in 2019, and since then Kim has doubled down on his plans to modernize his military while ignoring U.S. offers of talks. North Korea will mark the 110th anniversary of the birth of founding leader and Kim's grandfather Kim Il-sung in April and likes to mark key domestic anniversaries with military parades or launches. The Kim regime wants to demonstrate new technical achievements around the 110th birth anniversary of its founder, Kim Il-sung, Leif Erik Easley, a professor at UO University in Seoul. If the most recent missile launch was indeed a failure, North Korea will almost certainly continue to test, he added. Satellite images indicate that North Korea is preparing for a military parade for the April anniversary. The fact that the Wednesday launch failed indicates it was not just an ordinary missile, North Korean studies scholar Ahn Chan-mil told AFP. The timing, during a South Korean presidential transition and while the world is focused on Ukraine, also indicates Pyongyang is seeking maximum leverage, he added. A fresh ICBM launch would be an early challenge for South Korea's new president-elect, Yoon Suk-yeol, who has vowed to take a harder line against the North's provocations. Yoon has not ruled out the possibility of dialogue with Pyongyang, but analysts say his hawkish position puts him on a completely different footing to his liberal predecessor and significantly reduces the prospect of substantive engagement.